Hi friends, welcome to my new content. When I say this in the video entrance, I always think of the TV series Friends. Anyway, that is not our topic. Today I'm here with a new content on Jetpack Compose. It will be a content that I've used recently and I say to myself, why not make a video of it? By the way, recording the video in English will be a big challenge for me. I wonder what will happen if I forget words. But we have to start somewhere, right? So let's start now. First, what will we do in this video? As you can see on the emulator on the screen, we have a LazyRow. We know that it is very easy to add a click feature to the items on this row. However, we will need to add a border that will make this item appear and as if it is selected in the list. And this selection event should work for a single item, not multiple items. This is the difficult part, but don't worry, it's not very difficult. Long story short, I want to say this. I clicked on an item, and as you can see, a blue border appeared. When I clicked on the same item again, the border disappeared. I clicked on a new item again. Now, when I click on a different item, the blue border will switch from the previous item to new item, like this. Okay, I think we understand what we are going to do. Now, let's coding. Let's start by creating a component named name component. And I created a composable function and named it. We don't need to take the modifier as a parameter for now. I'm going to do quick design to get the look I just had. We will discuss the border operation here, but I'm coding the simple part right now. We will fill in the clickable later. Let's some clickable is not here. With a box. Yeah. And let's add some text. And default. For now I will write my own name by default. Okay, let's go back to main activity. And I will do it quickly here too. We already said we would use LazyRow. And let it completely yeah. Let it completely cover the screen horizontally. That's why I write fill max width. We can also use spaced by in horizontal arrangement to create a space between each items. So arrangement spaced by 10 dp. Okay, let's give the items, but we couldn't because we don't have a list. Let's create a name list here, like this, and Let me give my own name again. Alright. Now let's give the list to LazyRow. Name list. Then in this section we need to code how each item will look. We have already created the name component. We can write here. Yeah, I gave the text in the name component a default value. Now we can say that we will get this value from outside. Here's how we do it. Deleting this from here, and I give it a parameter to my composable function. Like this. Okay. And I'm going back. Component wants me to give it a name. Currently each item in the list returns me a string value. I can give this directly. Okay. Let's run this now and simply see what we are doing. Yeah, as you can see, we have a boxes with a name inside. I can click, but when I click it, nothing happens because we haven't written it yet. It looks better. Okay. And now let's get to the hard part. One of the most important things in Compose is state logic. So we need to manage our state. I was only keeping the names in the list I set for my items. At this point, I will start by keeping the state for each item. And so I'm creating a data class uh, named name item data. Okay. I will check if the boxes are selected in this data class. If you want, you can define a unique value for each item at this point. It can also be easily created using UUID. Uh, why are we giving this now? Um, if the items we keep in the list come with unique values, as is the case here, we can give this value by writing a key to LazyRow as follows. In case we don't provide it, the key is created according to the item's position in the list. When the dataset changes, items whose location changes may cause problems because they lose their remembered state. To prevent this, we can keep a constant unique value in the item and give it to LazyRow. Alright. While ID type UUID and random UID and string will value my own name and selected boolean default value false. Okay, let's give the key. We couldn't again because we didn't change the type of the list. Let me recreate the list with the data class I just created. Name item data. Okay. Okay, we can do it. We can write ID. Oh, yeah. We can write ID dot section Okay. It dot id. Yes. And we have an error because LazyRow now returns me a data class instance instead of a string. We didn't write that we would get a string in the data class, but we already did that. So, and name item data dot name. Okay. Now, let me explain why we opened this data class. We want to check whether the items are selected. So, we defined a variable like this, and we can give the default false value. Let's go back to activity. This part will now return name item data instead of name. And we solve the problem by typing name item data dot name into name component. If we run it this way, we expect to see same boxes again, right? Yeah, because I have default value for name. Yeah, okay. And okay, it can stay this way. Now, we need to manage the click event. What should I do for this? I need to keep a state of this name item data that I created. We can also manage this through the view model, but we will use an older method here. Let's open a class and name it name item data state. Okay. Instead of taking a list as a parameter to this class, let's create it inside. Var name item list mutable. I'm creating a mutable state list of with type name item data. In order to control which item is selected, I create a function called onItemSelected and give this function a parameter named selected item data. So fun onItemSelected selected item data name item data. Okay. And what will we do now? We need an iterator here. So why? Because an iterator over a mutable collection that supports indexed access, which means we able to add, modify, and remove elements while iterating. Now let's create our list iterator. While iterator name item list dot list iterator. And I need a loop. I will do this using while. The answer to the question of how long this loop will run is hidden in the iterator we created. If the iterator has a next step, the loop can continue. Otherwise, it must stop. In summary, we need to do the next check of the element while iterating. While list, iterator has next, as I said, and while list item iterator dot next, and we need to do the next check of the element while iterating. As I said, for as next function is a query operator, like next function that I will use. And let's create list item using the next function, like this. And I will change my iterator using the set function, which is a modification operator. In summary, the set function does replace the last element returned by next or previous with the specified element. Iterator.set, and I need to use a condition when making this change because I want a single select. If the ID value coming from the iterator.next function and the ID value coming from selected item are equal, we can set selected item data. If not, we should set the selected status to false for other items. So if list item dot id selected item data dot id return selected item data, else list item dot copy is selected false. Okay, and then we need a function that will set the list we received from outside in this class. Let's write a function like this: fun set name list list name item data. We created a function called set name list. This function will take a parameter. The type of this parameter must of course be the type of the list we will set. Then we set the incoming list to the list inside the class by converting it to mutable state list. So this name item list to mutable state list. Okay, now let's go back to main activity. I create the state class we created in activity with remember. If you are wondering why we should use remember here, you can research what remember is. This is not the subject of this video, but in summary, you may think that it's to avoid being affected by recomposition. Okay, we also need to set our list. Let's do it. This way, while name item data state remember name item data state. Okay, and name item data state set name list name list. Okay, and now I need to give LazyRow not my external list but the list whose state I keep and iterate over. So name item data state type dot name item list. Okay, if you remember, we made a clickable component at the beginning of the video, but it was empty. Now let's fill it in. Let's open name component. It takes string as a parameter. Let's change this. It should now take name item data data, name item data, that's name. Let's change, and it should now take parameter. Let's also write a lambda function that takes name item data as a parameter for the click operation. So on select change name item data turns unit. Okay. And let's come to the function we wrote and give it to the clickable section in the box. It asks me for the name item data parameter what I need to change here is selected value of the incoming data. So actually I change it easily using the copy function on select change name item data copy is selected, name item data is selected, not. Okay, we discussed whether the items in the list are selected or not. However, we didn't set a border according to the situation we are dealing with. Now let's do that. Card has a feature called border, and we can do it very easily with this. If the incoming data is selected, if name item data is selected, let's give it a border using border stroke 2dp and color is color.blue. Okay, and if it is not selected, it can be null. So else null. Okay, let's go back to main activity. There is an error in name component. Our first parameter is no longer a string. We should give name item data instead. Name item data, name item data. And the second parameter is of course the lambda function we just created. I reach the on item selected in the state. I keep and pass the name item data I changed. Okay, on select change. Actually, can do this like name item data state on item select. So it's better. And yeah, okay. I think that's all. Let's run it. Okay, LazyRow works properly. As you can see, when I click, we have a border. When I click on the same item again, and the border disappears, I clicked on an item again, and then when I click on another item that is not selected, the border of the previous item disappears. Okay. This is how we applied it to the single selectable structure we wanted. I hope I was able to explain what we did and why. See you in another video. Take care of yourself and work.